Today, we're talking about avoidant attachment, what it is, how it develops, and how it shows up in our lives and relationships. I'm Jason Silver, the dating coach for ambitious, empathetic women. Please remember to hit the subscribe button so you get notified of any future videos, and let's jump into today's lesson. Avoidant attachment is a way of relating to others where we can maintain emotional distance and independence, whether we try to or not, and avoid that deep connection out of fear of being vulnerable or overly dependent on someone. Avoidant attachment often begins in childhood when we had caregivers who were emotionally unavailable, dismissive, or just overwhelmed by our needs. This taught us that seeking connection or expressing emotions wouldn't be met with comfort or support. And over time, we learned to ask not for what we needed, but just simply to rely on ourselves instead of having to depend on others. This attachment style carries into adulthood, shaping the way we approach relationships. We might struggle to open up. We may avoid intimacy or just feel suffocated by emotional closeness. Recognizing this pattern is the first step towards building healthier, more balanced connections. One major sign of avoidant attachment is a discomfort with emotional closeness. You might find yourself pulling away when someone gets too close or feeling trapped by intense emotions in relationships. As children, we learned that emotional vulnerability wasn't safe or valued, so we might build walls to protect ourselves. And these walls now keep us from fully connecting with others, even when we want to. Above all, people with avoidant attachment often have a strong need for independence. You might think, oh, I don't need anyone, or just feel uncomfortable relying on others for help or support. You might value this part of yourself and be proud of the fact that you don't need anyone to be whole. However, this fierce independence can make it difficult to trust others or build healthy relationships. Another sign is difficulty expressing emotions, especially vulnerability. You might shut down during emotional conversations or change the subject or dismiss others' feelings as overreactions. We learn early on that expressing emotions doesn't lead to comfort or connection. It more often led to emotional abuse or shame. So suppressing feelings became a survival strategy that can now leave us disconnected both from our own emotions and the people around us. With avoidant attachment, we often downplay the importance of close relationships, telling ourselves that we're fine on our own. This might look like prioritizing work or hobbies or independence over spending quality time with loved ones. In the business world, workaholism can be confusing because this trait can be valued and rewarded in society, but deep down, this avoidance impacts our ability to experience true loving connection. As kids, we may have experienced relationships as unreliable or unfulfilling, leading us to believe that they're simply not worth the risk of getting hurt. People with avoidant attachment can feel overwhelmed when others expect that emotional closeness or vulnerability. You might think, why do they need so much from me? Or feel frustrated by your partner's need for reassurance. You might find yourself calling other people needy and not valuing the other person's ability to communicate their deeper needs. When emotional demands were too much for our caregivers, we learned to fear that dependency. And now, emotional closeness just feels like it threatens our own individuality or autonomy. A final sign is avoiding conflicts or just dismissing problems completely in your relationships. You might shut down or withdraw or act like these issues aren't a big deal, even when they clearly are. Growing up, conflict may have felt overwhelming or just unproductive, so we learn to avoid it altogether. As adults, this makes it difficult to resolve issues or to deepen emotional bonds with people. Conflict may feel like too much drama to deal with. In reality, facing conflict allows you to move through it rather than repeating these unhealthy patterns. Now, if you resonate with these signs, you're not alone. It's estimated avoidant attachment affects 1 in 4 people. It can make relationships feel distant or frustrating or unfulfilling. Now, while this pattern often protects us from feeling vulnerable, it can also keep us from experiencing deep, meaningful connections. The good news is awareness is the first step towards healing. By recognizing these patterns, we can begin to break free from them, create more secure attachments, and experience the emotional closeness we might not have even realized we've been longing for. To learn more about how you can start healing from avoidant attachment, click the link in the description of this video.